about AR/VR. Someone was talking about AR/VR earlier. So it doesn't have to be yung sinusuot mo in your eyes, right? So it can just be even mobile. So this is an example of Cos. It's an artist who worked at a exhibition at the Serpentine Gallery in London. And these artworks can only be seen through an app. So especially if you're a fan of the actual art of Cos, she's an modern artist, you kind of want to be immersive in it as well. So this is an example of Cos. Going around the space, they have actually a CuteArt, a digital art studio. And honestly, there are Filipino companies that are doing this already. I filmed this during the pandemic. Yung mga Facebook filters, you can actually do that on Facebook. And it's even if you don't have a technological background, but it's so easy to use. So there are a lot of creative technologies out there that the public can use for free. And this is again just an example of how art can be immersive through your mobile phones, through AR and VR. Another thing also, these use cases for advertising. Another AR VR innovation is this acquisition from L'Oreal. So MobiFace is a Toronto-based company, and it was acquired by X amount of millions of dollars, probably by L'Oreal, to have an innovation in terms of your trials. So think about it. If we can incubate these kind of software and innovations in the Philippines, it still can be acquired. We can still make money out of it, right? So I know there's a lot of amazing developers here. So these are just one of the case cases where with an innovation comes money. Again, this is another example of how MobiFace uses it. So this is, I'm not a technologist, I'm only an innovation consultant, but I do understand how technical all these things can happen, and they do lead to art. Immersive media. Anyone knows who these four people are? ABBA. Yes, I saw someone say ABBA. So actually, ABBA did a immersive experience in London, so it's called ABBA Voyage. And they did, this is a concert that's still running every day, I believe. And these are holograms of the four members when they were younger. And this is running even without the members there. It's earning money. So the person also, the company that also created this technological tool, again, another creative technology, is earning a revenue up to 44.2 million pounds in 2023. So one tool, one company can have so much happening there. So they actually use it for sports as well. So it's not just entertainment. So I'm having case use cases. It's more creative and it can go to a more practical industry. 3D printing and prototyping. So this is quite big. It's a 3D house. It's made out of a 3D printer. This house is made out of 3D printing. It allows 3D printing enables rapid prototyping, allowing designers to quickly iterate. So meaning you don't have to wait years or months before a building can be made. Again, a raise of hand, anyone who has 3D printers? So right, it's accessible. You can actually buy it online. So you might think, so this is another one. This is a bioplastic microphone from Netherlands by US architects. So again, it's so simple. Honestly though, you just have to be good at 3D modeling. Again, this is so more technical. You can look at it on YouTube. But you might think, okay, it's not super useful for us. We don't have these big printers, right? But yes, you can use 3D printing to maximize also or expedite mass production of products, even in engineering. So rather than waiting for a mold, so I'm not sure if anyone here from PI works in metal. I think one of the biggest trade industries here. You can use 3D printing and see, okay, will it work with this kind of dynamic versus waiting for creating a mode that will cost X amount of dollars, right? So this is just an example of a practical use cases, again, of creative technology.
Next, I'm not looking at the fashion industry to be inspired, or looking at...
And then you have the metaverse. Can I have that read, please? All right. So the metaverse now, this is my thesis actually, but the metaverse, in basic reality of it is you have a chair here, and you're going to create a digital twin of it on an online universe. That's basically it. And later on, a blockchain technology actually is the one that authenticates these kind of digital things so that you have this one ownership of this particular thing. Now, there's a lot of use cases in commerce, education, and entertainment. And the first thing that actually I want to just show you is a lot of it is happening, being used right now by kids. So, does anyone here, I'm very participant, I'm sorry, for Roblox, anyone of those kids are using Roblox? Yes, are they asking money from you? Yes, I can see someone, yes. So, they're actually spending money here. There is money being made here. And this is because of this whole metaverse thing. So, again, a lot of spaces, people can make money, even kids are making money out of this. This is another example. This is called Animal Crossing Fashion Archive. In the pandemic, Animal Crossing is gaining application in Nintendo, and where you can dress up characters. So this is actually an Instagram page where a Filipino American, actually who's a photographer, was asked by Valentino Dior to make a counterpart of their outfits in the game. So that's marketing, advertising also for you, right? So there's a lot of these things that came out of innovation and creativity and not being limited by the tools that you have. Okay. And maybe I'm going to also show you the reason why earlier someone was saying gaming is such a big thing, because aside from streaming, it is the preferred entertainment format globally across all ages. So I think I just want to support that information earlier, and that's the reason why even fashion brands are going into these spaces, because there is money to be made, especially in this attention economy. Now, blockchain technology, again, if you have a photo that you're going to send to your friend, and then he sends that to another friend, you can't keep track of that. Through blockchain technology, you can only have one. So again, I can go technical about this, but that's basically what blockchain technology is all about. It actually certifies a particular digital tool. Now you not the only digital product that you have. So another case use here. Can I go next? Okay, can I go to the next slide, please? Okay, so this is another example of how physical and digital are kind of intertwined together. Next slide. So a British brand called Sandal Silk actually did a fashion show in 2021 where this actual clothes have a digital counterpart. So meaning if you're into gaming, you can actually dress up your avatars with the same clothes that you're wearing. You might think that's funny, but people are making money out of this. And the gaming industry, I think esports is also part of the DTI standard. That's a lot of money there, and this is one of the reasons why. Because people see their digital twin, be it in gaming, avatar, metaverse, as their personal self as well, right? Why do you change your profile picture? That very same thing is the reason why this works. The metaverse is already happening around us. Your Instagram account, your Facebook account, those are already your metaverses of your own. Next slide. Blockchain technology again, next slide. This is a brand called Halo Halo, and during I think after Web3 was launched, they use a blockchain technology to provide, this is sold by crypto, and they created a digital card where it's a membership card, which provides access to these clients to membership perks like exclusive handbags, etc. And again, this is not new. You know, LVMH brands, Louis Vuitton, etc. are actually using this already to have an interaction with their community. So again, there's also business cases here, not just creating creative outlets. So I think the point that I was sharing there is creative technology is really made for productivity and profitability. So they don't just only enhance how fast creative outputs can be made, but you can actually have a lot of innovative business models. And someone in the panel earlier talked about, aside from just creating things, you have to find a way where people actually will want it, will want to watch it, will want to pay for it, will buy a ticket for it. So it's not just about being creative for creative sake. If there is an avenue for that one, but especially in the creative sector, we don't want more starving artists, and I think we do need to create an ecosystem that encourages that. The cultural side of things, I'm not going to forget about it because it's one of the groups that can be marginalized, even especially when digital innovations come into play. This is, I'm going to talk more about it, but this is a metaverse game that is actually made by an indigenous group. Can I have the volume?
Nimekwenda nakakisha chitokea, kama nimekwenda nakakiunekinaniwa.
So that is, I hope I'm saying it right. It's Bizkabiyaang. It's actually a game that actually started by Professor Maya Shakabi of York University in Canada. It was part of the Anishinaabe Beaver Plan. We actually mentored one of the Software Global Seminars program, where it focuses on the intersection of art, AI, and the need for governance, especially if you're getting data from people. Who owns it? Especially if you're getting it from the internet, right? So we actually created this card game to kind of revive the language of EPOS right now. So it's actually identified by UNESCO as one of the close to extinct languages. So it started as a card, and then eventually she worked with Univirtual, an innovative virtual platform designed for learning. So in this game, you actually talk to you practice language. There's gamified versions of it where the learning material becomes fun online activities. And actually, I just want to talk about funding because funding was also stated earlier. They got a funding since it's kind of a university output. But in the stipulations of the contract, as she said, there's no ownership to anyone who funds it. So it is owned by the plan. So I think also especially in CCA, I come from the fashion industry. There's a lot of others there. There's some textile, craft, and commercial. These are the kind of things we also want to think about if we want to work together. So another thing here I want to point out, I think we have cultural placemaking tomorrow. This is on museums, cultural spaces, and technology. An example of this is the Seoul's Dongdaemun Design Plaza, where they actually use AR here, projected to the Zahahadin Design Plaza. And as you can see, it attracted a lot of people and activity in the area. So especially for, I think we have LCACs here, who are local cultural councils. is this something you can also do at small scale? Because you also want to go big, right? But what if you look at the local resources that we have? Baka yung kapit-bahay niyo does this. So that's something that you can integrate when a festival comes in. So it's something just to think about. Again, creativity and technology combined can provide not just economic, but also cultural empowerment. So this is an example of MP Studio, which is a Berlin-based company. And actually, it's not just putting things in a computer, they actually map the actual thing. And they create a digital twin, and then they use AI to expand these kind of artworks as well, so that it covers the whole thing. And you might think, okay, we're kind of behind that. Actually, no, we did this. Actually, a artist, Derek Tumula, and Jose Tom, actually did lucid abyss in a lens in Escola building. And you can see here that it actually highlights a step towards a new engagement with the media to revive neglected areas of the city. So I know the Escola group and the space is being done right now because of stores, etc. But they can also encourage creative technologies there. You know, big spaces, small spaces, there's a lot of avenues. And as you can see, the digital world is extensive and never-ending, so there's so much experimentation that can be done. I have 10 minutes, so let me quickly wrap this up. Intellectual property and policy. So this is just some highlights that, especially if we're talking about the creative technologies from the Philippines, there's money that can also be done there, right? You can pay for, you get money from licensing, royalties, and partnerships. So it's not just the users of creative technology, it's also the makers of this. This is the things that we can also encourage moving forward. So this is an example of a free creative technology called Blender. I know there's some subscriptions, you can donate to it, etc. This is free, guys. It's free. So honestly, a lot of it will have limitations, but we have this baseline free creative technology that Filipinos are actually probably using anyway, right? It's going to be hard if you can go to the dual and the dual levels of animation, but there are already existing things that you probably wouldn't know. They also are already using that for advertising. So these are free tools. Now I talked about data scrapping and the need for creatives to know their rights. So this is something that is still, I think, being talked about in RIPO, in UNESCO, and in trade industries. But I do think, especially with how fast technology is going, policies have to be put in place, especially well thought of in policies. Especially because if you don't know the things that we blocked for 2010, it's being fed into ChatGPT because it's out there for free. There are a lot of concerns actually from artists that they don't have the consent that it's being fed to an AI model. How can we extract that but not pass some threshold? So those are the things that we don't have school frameworks for. And how fast should we act on these policies? In 2023, the big thing was metaverse and blockchain. That's the reason I wrote a thesis about it. But a year after, it's now just a buzzword. Everyone's talking about AI. And maybe policies are being made for blockchain. Now there's another thing that's happening. So that's the reason I was talking about earlier. For technology, for everyone in policy involved with creative industries, we have to also catch up. And there is again money that can be made. Another example thing, this is something that we also probably was thinking about. When I came into DSWP for the digitalization of the government services, a lot of the people in the field offices are scared that they're going to be replaced. So I think it is just really a mindset. Before there's a job called lamp, like a lamp lighter. Someone is gonna open a lamp and then put fire in it. That's gone now because of electricity, right? So innovation wouldn't stop. It's just people that have to keep up with this, and if it becomes a threat, it's because we thought it was a threat. So in the mindsets that we have, we also have to think about that these technologies are actually creating more jobs. And it's a matter on all of us, how can we mitigate, how can we facilitate this kind of transition coming from, previous industrial revolutions. So, just in time, 8 minutes, enablers for creative technology come to you. Education. So I come from the education sector as well. The arts management supports the transition to creative industries because of the CETA. And that was a big move for them because now it's not just the arts, it's the rest of the creative industries. And those are the kind of things we also have to facilitate in our programs. It's not about just the creative part of it, but also how do you monetize it? Or at least if you're not monetizing it, how can you make it a reality? Are there grants out there? Does education have spaces for experimentation? So in Brazil, actually, they launched several initiatives through the National Bank of Economic Social Development in terms of VR, gaming, and interactive media, and also Samsung did a collaboration with them to kind of empower young creatives here. Public sector encourage. An example here is that New Zealand's government has actually introduced incentives to support the local creative technology. I'm going to highlight local. So they actually grant rebates for productions who actually use local New Zealand creative technologies. So again, that's one of the main prompts we can also use to encourage our creatives in the Philippines. Canadian Media Fund as well creates experimental stream for financial support because again, this kind of innovations, even though it's not going to make money now, the findings that they have here can go on for later. An example of that as well. Another thing I also wanted to highlight here is these platforms are actually picking far ahead of actually creating AI labels on TikTok, Facebook, etc. So in more technical terms, there's metadata, there's a lot of technological codes behind images that can actually be insulted by artificial intelligence. So this is actually, again, coming from the government, coming on the point of safeguarding your creators. So I was talking about innovation that can spark new things. This is an example actually of the Apollo mission probably is the reason why we have emails right now. And it's because of government funding. So all of these kind of big government projects or innovative projects can be funded just by private sector. So I think there's an encouragement here to make space for innovative projects, for experimentation that can come in as a practical technology later on. So again, even the mission itself was going to the moon. There were a lot of innovation that was happening in the process of going to the moon through thermal blankets, refrigerator, back meals, etc. So this is the reason why I think I am passionate of innovation within public sector because it can relate to private sector. This is a great book as well. So this is The Mission Economy by Mariana Mazzucato, who is actually a lecturer for UCL for mission-oriented innovation. So this is, I think, mostly a public sector group. I just wanted to put it out there because it's a good reminder that if we are the ones coming from funding, policies are being set so that the creative economy can go and be a competitive player in 2030. I think these are the things we should consider in our own roles. Even though you don't think you're using Blender or generative AI, there are things that you can do that can enable creatives to make money out of it. Or actually, monetize great grants, etc. So again, you have the power to not only expedite it, but also see where the direction we're going. In the Philippine context, are we just commercial? Or how can we connect the commercial and cultural for creative economy? I think that's a question I want to pose here as well. Now, go back to my personal values as an innovation consultant. It's really about humans. At the end of the day, these tools like paint brushes are just tools for creativity. So what I want you to think about is 3 principles of human-centered design. Is number 1, will people write it? Will people design it? Second, is it feasible? You have technologies to do it. Maybe you're gonna draw them where it can be executed. Is there a gap that we can fill there? Third, viability. And I think this is pretty interesting because it is in the center of doing business and in the center of it has to be sustainable. Because at the end of the day, if it's experimentation, who's going to fund it? If we're doing it for the commercial sector, are people going to be paid wages and salaries, right? So I just wanted to put it here because you can apply this not just in creative technology, but in anything that you do. So, just to end the discussion I have today, 2 minutes is fair. Technology becomes a threat if you don't contextualize and empathize. So that's why I started with the context of creativity and art, in the context of the Philippines, in the context of Industrial Revolution and Web3. Because we might be talking about the big things, but is it contextual to us? So make technology a tool, because if you look at the threat, it will be. And that concludes my presentation today.